welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 24th of June. And, well, we're just moving along on a spectacular June. I mean, it's going to be one for the record books so far. It's been just a phenomenal run. I don't know that we've seen one like that in quite some time because, of course, it's always been sell in May and go away. But, boy, the algorithms had a different modus operandi going on, and we could see it. Still within it now, we're seeing a tiny breakdown here of the steel coming below red and steel. Of course, that is a reset, but it could present a little softness within the day, so we'll keep an eye out on it. Everything else looking strong. Identical read, though, from a NASDAQ standpoint. Check out everything else looking just right. Yes, of course, we have the positive extremes. The power is coming from this euro surge because this belief that the dollar is going to continue to weaken given the miraculous improvement of European, no, actually it's just the fact that the belief is that the Fed is going to ease, given no real reason. I mean, doing nothing is probably within the best guideline, and remaining in that stance unless there's some evidence that they need to act. But that doesn't always sound fun, because if they're not doing something, they feel like they're panicking. It's like, you can just step back and let market forces do what they're going to do without your intervention, but we'll see if they're able to maintain that. As you can see, we talked about this with the setup right here, and I thought that it might break past into a new high range, and in fact it has. So still looks strong. Yes, getting overbought, and that is what second one right here from the previous. So back to the 12.8. So we'll see. It'll take some time before that takes place. And of course, oil still in its rise as tensions are still. Well, there's just uncertainty. Yes, but I think once inventories come through and they see significant build, again, it will be a swift move the other direction once that takes place. And again, with this heightened situation, gold, we saw that take off building, and sure enough, spot on. The same thing is happening in with like the Bitcoin. In fact, we can go and look at that because we've been following it since baseline down here. Even when it was down in the 3,900 range, we were talking about how it was building and set up poised at that, and here we are making nice moves. I mean, it's still a pretty decent return. We had a pretty, I guess you could call it fugly day for the 5K. Just kind of was back and forth. Yes, we had the build, we had a couple of pivots, but it just wasn't producing anything with that steel reset. And then finally the steel reset came right through here. We got some gold, but then it gave us the full turnaround right here. And then of course, cyan dips below green, and that's the beginning of the takeoff, and boom. And then we got the reversal after getting a massive DOC push all the way above the plus 7.5 on the red here. Even the green got above 13.5, so pretty extreme. And I did have a question from a member about this issue of wanting to see an alert on moves above like 13. The way the indicators that we've done are set up, you can create an alert for just about anything. So let me go ahead and put up the easy language on how you would do something like that. That will be a fun one to look at. And through the magic of TV, boom, there it is. So what I did was I created, by going into the file, new, and I just created, in this case, an indicator. You could call it whatever you want. You're just going to have to add it into your library. But what I did was I put underscore new alerts. The reason I do the underscore is that way when you click your menu, it shows up first, which is very convenient. And here's the simple thing, because every single one of our indicators has been put in a function format, which is this underscore, in this case DOC orange. And you'll find that in your function library, because they'll be the first ones, because again, we labeled them with this double underscore, which puts them up front. You can pick any individual indicator you want and say, okay, hey, if it does this, or even if I wanted to say the DOC orange crosses below green, you can actually do that. Actually, crosses below is an actual easy language protected word. And then you push, then you would then begin. And then the alert is simply this. So It will, well, in this case I wrote Ironhawk, but you could literally put anything you want within those parentheses, and it will tell you exactly that. It'll just, and then if, depending on what you put for your global preferences, you'll either have, you can have it page you, text you, send you an email. There's a variety of things you can do, and that would be done under the alert setup. So, I mean, literally, that's as simple a language, and then it's just a matter of verifying it by clicking the button, and boom, it's all set. So, that's all it takes to create an indicator from anything. You can do the same thing with the shakeout or any of the other indicators by doing that. And then it's just a matter of putting in your alerts, and you can actually format those within your format. So once you enable a strategy, you can click within the individual strategy for alerts for those notifications. We can get into it, but it's pretty straightforward at that particular point. So a nice feature. I've also been going through on the Opus 2 program, removing a lot of the inputs in that. It's taken quite a while because there's quite a few of them, and you have to work around them all. And I know I was going to try and send that one out. I know it'll happen probably sometime later today. It's just there's a few more that I want to go through, and you have to create the whole new structures for them in order to eliminate it. It's a very long program, so it's taken me all weekend to get as far as I have, and still have a little ways to go. So I keep plugging away at that. This is what happens when the lines of these code become extreme, and we have to find all the instances that the previous languages used. So I'm getting there. As always, though, trade well. I will put up anything that's relevant on the Skype chat. You can see that we're in a slight little up bubble right there that's just sort of created some weakness with the DOC spread, but that nice steel dip is about to cross with a positive move here for steel. That might be enough to get it back above this 29.58 range that we had marked from before, and we'll see if it's able to maintain that. That was from the 50K buy sellout range from way back, so it's still working right within that range. It kind of shows you how we've been trading across for the last couple of days. It's a holiday here in Florence, San Giovanni, so that doesn't mean anything to you guys, but just thought I'd share. As always, trade well. We'll talk again later.